Hello everyone and welcome, my name is Random Gamer Riven, the editor of Randomised Gaming. Now, if you're following me on Twitch at the minute, or you're following Randomised Gaming on Twitch, you'll know I am currently doing a playthrough of Shining the Holy Ark. It is an iconic Sega Saturn RPG, probably one of the best RPGs on the system, and actually one of the best dungeon crawler RPGs ever made. It needs a lot more love than it actually gets, and it is a fantastic prequel to Shining Force 3, and one of the best games in the Shining series. Now, I've always wanted to cover this fully on the channel. To date, I haven't done so, but I thought I'd do like a gameplay sampler with just a brief introduction. It would be nice to do a full playthrough on the channel at some point. I know there's a few already up on YouTube, so that slightly disincentivises it. But I've currently got a stream on Twitch that we're running through, so if you want to see me playing through it, and I'm currently at the West Shrine as of the time of recording this video audio, so do drop over. If you're watching this video a few months later, it'll all be highlighted and there'll all be a rewatch. You can watch it where I chat to various people on stream and take a look at this game. It is an iconic dungeon crawler. It is really, I said, one of the best games on the Sega Saturn in terms of dungeon crawling RPG and one across the genre. Yes, it draws from games like Dungeon Master, but it's just so wellly made. It does have a very on-the-point story that was very wellly done, and it goes at a nice pace and it progresses at a nice pace. So this section here I'm actually looking at is just at sort of the second half of the game, and it's actually the first confrontation with Rilix, who's one of the main villains in the game. She is of course the witch who has possessed the king and the sorcerer who aided you initially, Forte, and Arthur, Melody and Rodi are now going to fight her for the first time, and I've also got Basso, the Dragon Man at this point, and Akane, Rodi's sister. Enrich Dungeon is only one of a couple of locations you actually return to. Desire Mine you actually revisit in order to get to Godspeak, the top location where the final battles take place, and also Enrich Dungeon. The first time you go there, it's really, really hard, as the enemies are actually on a much higher level. The second time they actually only reused enemies from the South Shrine, the location you previously visited, so by this point, as the South Shrine is so big, you're actually pretty easy to get to Rilix, which is quite handy because Rilix is one of the harder fights in the game. She's effectively a double boss battle, so you have to fight the two spirits first, then Rilix basically revives the two spirits and you have to fight her alongside them. I'm not sure if her moves are a little preset, but as you'll see in this footage, I did actually get an unlucky roll with some of the enemy moves, and both the spirits did ice level 3 back to back, which caused me a bit of problem, but I was able to fight through it. I could have had my characters promoted at this point, but I haven't done. I'm actually playing with unpromoted characters, and this is actually the first time I've done so. Normally, whenever I played this off the bat, I level them up straight away, but there is a few level up advantages if you don't level the early characters up straight away. You can get some additional stat boosts, although it's entirely up to you, and to be honest, most players won't be leveling up to 99. I did actually do that in one of my save files, crazy as it was, took absolute ages. You end up running through the East Shrine, beating the the Hitori monster, that's the snake with the top of the good disguise of the one of the other monsters, and you just end up farming that for hours and hours and hours on end. But that's good fun if you want to do that. But yeah, I do actually have a 99, or at least I did have. I'm not sure if I still got it. But it is just a brilliantly well-made game. If you haven't played it, I do recommend it. The music is absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to talk all the way through this video. I just wanted to give a quick rundown of the game. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. If people want to hear me talking, then by all means nip over to Twitch. I don't really want to explain too much, spoil the game, but it is just really well made. I do chat to a few people in Enrich, and then we go into the actual Enrich dungeons. Finally, at the end of the video, I show you the conclusion to the battle, and also I show you how to unlock the secret character Doyle. Although we meet Doyle quite early on in the story, once you confront Panzer for the first time and Doyle gets a bit injured, Doyle then sulks off, and if you don't find him, you can actually finish the game without him. He's the only character that's not an automatic joiner. What you have to do is, after the battle with Forte, and after you've rescued Forte and saved the king and defeated Rilix for the first time, you then have to return to Far East Village, which I show in this video, and then you have to speak to the Lord of Far East Village before returning to Desire Village, where there's now an additional tree that suddenly cropped up, and if you search that tree, you will discover where Doyle is hiding, and he will join your force. Interestingly, Sega Saturn magazine actually missed him in their guide initially, which made it a bit of a faux pas, because I always remember at the time, we were like, where is he? So that puzzle, it took me ages. The illusionary tower originally took me ages to suss out, and finding Doyle took me ages. It was like literally at the end I managed to find Doyle, and it slightly annoyed me because then I realised you could have got him a lot earlier. But in this video we show you how quickly you can get him, but yeah, you can in theory do all the shrines, get to Godspeak and still not located Doyle. And he is quite a cool character. He's more of a sort of a tanky one, although to be fair, towards the end you largely use the magic characters and all their really strong magic spells. But this is an absolute fantastic follow-up to Shining in the Darkness. I probably should do something on Shining in the Darkness, maybe do a playthrough of the end section. I still have my saves where I actually beat the game. If people want to see that, let me know. If they just want to see the final dungeon floor and ending, maybe do a bit for that. I mean, I'd quite like to do a playthrough of Shining in the Darkness again, but there's so many people who've done playthroughs on YouTube. You do wonder if you're going to get views and stuff. I think more now we're going to be progressing away from sort of just standard playthroughs and going more to sort of videos like look at the delisted games, and that will be coming in the near future. But maybe if there's enough demand for it, I will do. I know there's already a couple of playthroughs on YouTube, but I don't think many of them, I think all of them are going to be save states and emulators, not like I'm doing here where I'm playing it the real man's way on the original console. Yes, this is an original hardware capture, and if anyone's asking, this is my PAL copy being run at 60Hz on a modified Sega Saturn. I don't really need to say much more, just a quick bit about the tactics. Do look at your teammates. One of the cool facts is the fact you can swap in and out teammates during battle, so that comes in very handy for quickly taking out injured members, so you can get other members to heal them and then heal the other ones, then bring back in the injured ones to heal. Again, it's changing items as well. So Basso, the main dragon guy, he's only a straight attacker. He doesn't have any range attacking spells. I think he has a couple of range attacking techniques, but they're random. You can't tell which technique he's going to pull off, and you need to get a critical. Then I generally, when I've got multiple enemies, will swap in the magic users, and Akane, of course, is a magic user. She's not as strong as Melody, but she acts as quite a good healer. There are some disadvantages with not being promoted, as you'll see. This run does not have me using the Sacred Sword, so Arthur is quite heavily nerfed at this point. Normally I'd have the Sacred Sword equipped when I've done this for fun, but as I was doing a playthrough and I'm doing it on Twitch, I thought, you know what, I'll promote my guys a little bit later to see how that affects the game. Interestingly, that might impact me a bit later on, because I think if I promote them at level 30, I'm then going to have to regain the levels, and I think you lose out on some of the spells you would have learned at earlier stages, so you need to level up quite a bit more. But we shall see. That's me speculating slightly as I'm doing something I haven't done before, but it is a fantastic game. There are lots of ways to actually do it. It's just a great cast of characters, a great story. The visuals are a little bit dated now, although they still hold up fairly well. They have been slightly stylised with the CG render, so they do look a little bit dated with some of the scaling and resolution. This is a game that could do with like a HD remaster and look fantastic, or even a proper full-on remake. It's an example of one where I think you could really add some detail to the dungeons. Some of the textures are a little bit bland. There is also a bit of slowdown in places. I mean, it doesn't impact you as it's an RPG, but if you're a purist, you might be a little bit, oh, there's a little bit of slowdown, but the game just plays so well. It's just such a fantastic dungeon crawling adventure, and there's so much to it. It's much more expansive than Shining in the Darkness, which was just set in a straight dungeon. This, you've got above ground, below ground, so many locations to visit, so many shrines, quite a few little secrets and extras as well tucked in there, and the fairies and other cool features that really expand on Shining in the Darkness. Basically, this is an example of how to make a sequel. It is superior to Shining in the Darkness in every way, and Shining in the Darkness is a very good game. It has a few flaws, and this is a vastly better game. This is still not entirely perfect, but it is such a good dungeon crawler. It really ranks as one of the best ones, and the way the story's told is vastly superior to stuff like some of the more modern titles, like the Ethereal Odysseys, which I don't think are that great of games. They're nice dungeon action RPGs, well, turn-based combat games, but they're not as good as this. This really is a pinnacle. This sort of is reminiscent of Dungeon Master and Eye of the Beholder, but adds in a lot of new console-friendly stuff and actually really gives it a lot more character. I really wish Camelot would do a sequel to this. They ain't going to, because they're obviously a second party, but this is definitely a game that I think, one, could do a remake, and two, could just do with actually a re-release, because we haven't had a re-release, and it is such a fantastic game more people need to play. That's it from me. I've said all I need to. As always, if you do like our channel, please do hit that like button, and please do hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. Do check me out on Twitch if you want to see me streaming this for live, and do check it out. I am currently streaming at 10 PM. That's 10 PM British summertime. At the minute it will be GMT in the later part of the year when we're in the GMT. But yeah, at 10 PM on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday. Do follow us on Twitch and do subscribe to us on YouTube. And as always, if you enjoy this video, please do leave a like and a comment as well. Please do leave comments, they do help our channel as well. So get active, get talking. Did you like this game? Do you like Shining the Holy Ark? What don't you like about it? What do you like about it? Just let us know in the comments. I mean, I think this is a brilliant game, but as I said, I think the frame rates are a little bit slow. The only thing I did notice, and there's a couple pointed out to me, the story slightly flags in the second half, where a lot of the internal team conversations in the early part of the game, there's a lot of discussion between Rodi, Melody and Arthur, which is really good. In the later half of the game, after you beat Rilix, there noticeably in the fight after you beat Rilix, you'll just get a blank screen with a bit of text, and that to me gives me the impression that perhaps some of the story cutscenes that were planned weren't actually finished, so they've slightly rushed the later half of the game in terms of story-wise. I think the gameplay was all there, but I think they cut down on some of the story elements, possibly to get it out on time, which is a bit of a shame. I think you could have probably done with a bit more dialogue between the team in the later half, especially when you start getting the other characters. Because there's not really much discussion between Basso and Lisa when you get them back. And again, Melody and Forte don't say anything when they're reunited, and you think, well, hang on, they were partners, why aren't they suddenly chatting away and being really happy? So I think something like if they did a remake, you could really add that in there. Okay, that's it from me. I've said enough now. Enjoy the video, enjoy me playing it, and if you'd like to see more, do drop on Twitch and do leave a comment, like, and say maybe if there's enough demand I will consider doing a full playthrough as well, although that's going to be a real time sink, I will admit. But I am looking to cover a lot more Sega Saturn this year at long last. And please do keep watching the video as well, it does help us if you stay watching the video. Thank you all everyone, that's me out, Random Gamer Ribbon. So I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching this randomised gaming video. My name is Random Gamer Riven, the editor of Randomised Gaming, and I'd kindly ask, if you enjoyed this video, please do consider hitting the like button. And if you enjoy our channel content, please do consider subscribing to the channel. We have a whole host of high quality gameplay videos, long plays and playthrough videos. We also have consumer issues and some comparison issues covering various different versions of games. And topics like 50 and 60 Hz, differences between PAL and NTSC versions of games. So if you want to see a channel with that type of gaming content, please do spend some time looking at our videos and playlists here at Randomised Gaming. And feel free to get involved in the discussion as well by leaving a comment, and myself or one of the team will try and get back to you as soon as possible. You can also check out our blog with lots of written features, images and reviews on it. And you can also find me live streaming on Twitch. All our legacy YouTube streams are available in a playlist, but going forward I will only be streaming on Twitch at present. Some videos will have affiliate links in the video description, and you can support us by buying us a tea or coffee via the website Ko-fi. Links to all our websites and channels are included in the YouTube video description. Thank you again for watching, viewer, and as always I wish you all a good night, a good evening, a good morning or a good afternoon wherever you are in the world.